Sometimes, reality presents us with stories so strange, they seem to defy logic. Moments where the fabric of history reveals a hidden pattern. In this video, we'll explore 12 true stories of unbelievable coincidences, tales that challenge our understanding of chance and fate. Prepare to have your mind blown as we journey through history's most mysterious and astonishing connections. In 1900, King Umberto I of Italy dined at a small restaurant in Monza and was stunned to meet the owner, his exact double. Not only did they look identical, but both were named Umberto, born on the same day, in the same town, and both married women named Margherita. Each had a son, named Vittorio. The king invited his doppelganger to an event the next day, but the restaurant owner was killed that morning. Hours later, King Umberto himself was assassinated. Both men, born and named alike, died on the same day. Their parallel lives and deaths remain one of history's most chilling coincidences. Sometimes, fate writes stories stranger than fiction. In 1838, Edgar Allan Poe wrote a novel about shipwrecked sailors who, desperate to survive, kill and eat a cabin boy named Richard Parker. Decades later, in 1884, a real shipwreck left 4 men stranded at sea. They, too, resorted to cannibalism, and the victim's name was Richard Parker. Poe's fictional horror became a real-life tragedy, echoing his story in every detail. Was it prophecy, or just a terrifying coincidence? Sometimes, life imitates art in the most unsettling ways. In 1898, Morgan Robertson published a novella about the Titan, an unsinkable ship that strikes an iceberg and sinks in the North Atlantic. 14 years later, the Titanic, also deemed unsinkable, met the same fate. Both ships were British, similar in size, under-equipped with lifeboats, and sank in April after hitting an iceberg. The parallels are uncanny, from the ship's name to the disaster's details. Robertson's fiction seemed to predict the Titanic tragedy with eerie precision. Was it foresight or a warning ignored? Sometimes fiction and reality collide in haunting ways. Mark Twain was born in 1835, the year Halley's Comet appeared. He famously predicted he would go out with it when it returned. In 1910, as the comet blazed across the sky, Twain died, just as he'd foretold. His life began and ended with the comet's visit, a poetic symmetry that defies explanation. Was it destiny or a cosmic joke? Twain's story is a reminder that sometimes the universe has a sense of timing. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, founding fathers and former presidents, were rivals turned friends. Both played key roles in America's birth and later rekindled their friendship through letters. On July 4, 1826, the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, both men died hours apart. Adams' last words: Thomas Jefferson survives. He was wrong. Jefferson had died earlier that day. 5 years later, James Monroe, another president, also died on July 4th. The nation's birthday became forever linked to the deaths of its founders. Coincidence, or poetic closure to a revolutionary era. June 28, 1914. Archduke Franz Ferdinand survives an assassination attempt in Sarajevo. Later, a wrong turn leads his car to stop in front of a sandwich shop, right where Gavrilo Princip, one of the failed assassins, happens to be. Princip seizes the chance, firing the fatal shots that ignite World War I. A single miscommunication and a random stop changed the course of history. The odds were astronomical, yet the moment was real. Sometimes world events hinge on the smallest accidents. Fate, chance, or both. The world would never be the same. In August 1945, Tsutomu Yamaguchi survived the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. Injured, he returned home, to Nagasaki. 3 days later, he survived the second atomic bomb, just miles from Ground Zero. Yamaguchi is the only person officially recognized as surviving both bombings. He lived to 93, a living testament to both horror and luck. His story is a reminder of resilience and the unfathomable odds of fate. Sometimes, survival itself is the greatest mystery. Identical twins Jim Lewis and Jim Springer were separated at birth and adopted by different families. Both were named James, had childhood dogs named Toy, excelled in math and woodworking, and struggled with spelling. Each married a Linda, divorced, then married a Betty. Both named their sons James Allen, smoked Salem cigarettes, drank Miller Lite, and drove light blue Chevrolets. Even their vacations matched. Reunited after 39 years, their lives were mirror images, genetics, fate, or something stranger. The Jim twins' story blurs the line between coincidence and destiny. Robert Todd Lincoln, son of President Abraham Lincoln, was once saved from death by Edwin Booth, a famous actor. Months later, Edwin's brother, John Wilkes Booth, assassinated President Lincoln. The man who saved the president's son was the brother of the man who killed the president. Robert Lincoln was also present at the assassinations of Presidents Garfield and McKinley. One life, 3 presidential tragedies, and a web of eerie connections. Sometimes, history's threads are impossibly tangled. Heroism and horror, forever intertwined. Coincidence, or something more? In Bermuda, Neville Ebbin, age 17, was killed in 1974 when a taxi struck his moped. 1 year later, his brother Erskine, also 17, died the same way. On the same moped, on the same street, the taxi was driven by the same driver, carrying the same passenger. 2 brothers, 2 identical tragedies. 1 impossible sequence of events. The odds are astronomical. Some stories defy all logic, fate, chance, or a glitch in reality. The Ebbin brothers' story remains a haunting mystery. In 1678, Sir Edmund Barry Godfrey was murdered in London. 3 men were convicted: Robert Greene, Henry Barry, and Lawrence Hill. The body was found at a place called Greenberry Hill. The names of the accused, Greene, Barry, and Hill, matched both the victim's name and the location. Was it a bizarre coincidence or something more? The case remains a linguistic puzzle at the heart of a historic murder. Sometimes, even names seem woven by fate. These stories remind us that history is a tapestry woven with threads of chance, fate, and the unexplainable. They challenge our sense of logic and invite us to see the world with wonder. Are these events random, or hints of a deeper order? The beauty lies not in solving the mystery, but in marveling at it. Reality, it seems, is often stranger than fiction. Stay curious, the universe is full of surprises.